You are listening to Grammy's Rocket Chair on RLM Radio.
The girl of your dreams has got to be in some bar.
Sorry, boys and girls, but this is X-rated. So if you're under 18...
Get out, goddammit!
Get the point? Good.
And now?
Bend over.
Y'all ready for this?
Get it up. Get it up. I can't wait anymore.
I like to watch.
Whatever you desire. I know you'll like it. Do it.
We do it all night long.
And now, your host, Grammy.
Yeah, I'm here. Kind of, sort of. Holy crap. I keep pushing buttons. Of course, I think y'all expect that, don't you? Yeah, y'all are listening to Grammy's Rocket Chair here on RealLibertyMedia.com, Channel 3. Also on the RLMRadio.xyz site. Z, not C, Z. And the Spreaker channel and the later on YouTube and lots of other places. Cripes, it's a Whack-A-Doodle Wednesday, and I'm just whacked. That's just par for the course, right? Hey, I'm looking over here on Twitter. I got 363 stalkers. By gosh and by golly, I am an overachiever. Let me tell you, I am consistently over 350. What the hell am I doing wrong? I just don't turn them corners fast enough. Okay, let's see. What else is going on? I have to take a peek at Twitter. What could possibly go wrong? I don't know, Hal. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, thanks, Gary L. That is an awesome intro. And that's brought to you by Phantom. He does an amazing job with that intro, and I truly do appreciate him immensely. Okay, over here on Fakeybook, I saw the lovely Mary B is over here, as well as Tom W is here. And let's see, Gary L is over here, my baby sis. Yeah, there's a few people that Circles sent me a help wanted sign because she knew I was kind of sort of, considering looking for a change of occupation. And this just fits right in, kind of. It's a help wanted for an evil genius seeks minions to sacrifice their lives in world domination attempt. Must be prepared to work 24/7 for fascist psychopath with no pay. Messy death inevitable, but costumes and laser death rays provided. No weirdos. I think that leaves me out. No weirdos. You're supposed to call 1-900. I can't wait. I'm going to send my resume. I wonder if I'll at least get an interview. Yes, I am live right now, JJ's. Says a maniacal weirdo. Okay, come on. Don't be giving me no shit. Caution, the media is not a reflection of reality. You think, Sheriff Mike? Okay, I got to share that one because that's like, really? You think? Okay, Doozer, you're going to have to move for just a sec because Mama's got to type. Oops. I did the wrong punctuation, so I have to add a few characters. Hate that. Thank you, JJ's, by the way, for tweeting me over here on Twitter. And also, hey there, BB. How are you doing, darling? Long time no chitty chat with you. And you know what? I still have your recipe for laundry soap, and I'm going to have to use it this weekend because it's been 4 or 5 months since I made the last batch. So I need to make some more laundry soap. I also see that Barman tweeted me. Thank you ever so much, Barman. Now I'm going to go ahead and shut down Twitter because, yeah, it's a drain on my tin can and kite string, don't you know? Over here in the corner pocket, I see the lovely JJ's from Scotland wearing his kilt, no less. And I know that just makes Flasher nuts because I have this fascination with kilts, don't you know? It's like, where's a breeze when you need one? Yes, I'm a pervy old lady. Oliver! I see Oliver jumped in. Hi, Oliver. How you doing, sweetie? Okay. Oh, Freedom's Network. I gotta say hey to TD, because TD has been having some issues with electricity, and it's a good thing she's got a generator. A propane generator, by the way, which is probably not cheap to run. But hey, so long as you have some heat and some lights when you need them, that's what counts. Ouchie, ouchie, ouchie on the wallet, but hey, until something better comes along, like somebody does an open source thing to where they can't just come and bump your ass off because you're applying for a patent. Don't try and get rich off that shit, people. Because if you put it out there and everybody winds up being able to use it, that will make that whole monetary system go douche anyway. So, because it'll be a domino effect. That's my opinion, at least. Okay, I checked over on Minds earlier before I started off, and I really didn't see. I saw a few things, fun things going on, but hey, they're over there on Minds. If anybody from Minds is listening in, this is that crazy lady that kind of drops little, kind of sort of trying to be smart tidbits, and I also drop some snark from time to time. Don't step in it. It's sticky, and it's hellacious to wash off. Okay, where else am I at? Okay. Oh yeah, Freedom's Network. It wasn't just TD that was there. Come on, Opera, you POS. My opera is being a POS. So, since it's going to be that way, Stranger Things 2 is now streaming. Booyah! I love Stranger Things. Yeah. My mommy always told me not to talk to strangers, so I have to stop talking to myself. Okay, Grimmy is over here on this Freedom's Network. Thank you, Grimmy, for sharing that over here on this effing site. Truly appreciate it, hon. I also see Bob Renner is over here, as well as the lovely TD Sanders was here for a while. And yes, my freaking opera is just locked up again. POS. Piece of shite. But you know what? If you're over here in the RLM, which is where you really need to be if you want to give me static, then it doesn't lock up like my stupid opera is doing. I think I'm going to have to do a redouchie on my computer. What's a redouchie? I don't know. I'll find out when I do it, I guess, because I'll push a button. Scotland? Okay, I know that totally sucked. In any case. Let me say hey there, hi there. Let's see, over here in the stop it. I got the swirly of death going on. Barman is right up top. Hey there, Barman. Thanks for tweeting me. Truly do appreciate it, hon. Oh, is it good? Oh, cool beans. Thanks, Moosey. Yeah, in any case, yeah, I watched part of it. Well, actually, I haven't watched any of the season 2 yet, but over the weekend when I was out with the grands, they wanted to watch Stranger Things because everybody at school is talking about it. And so Mommy and Daddy said, no, you got to watch the first season first. So Friday night and Saturday night, we were marathoning. Oh, JJ's, you're so funny. So, yeah, I had my granddaughter, who is 13 and taller than me, was on my lap through, I think we made it through like 6 or 7, I think it was 6 episodes of it. And she was on my lap the whole time. Now, granted, we didn't do that all in one sitting because, wow, I wouldn't have been able to walk. And she is a skinny little thing, but holy crap, you got a child that's taller than you and a bony ass sitting on your lap. Yeah. Bless her heart. I love her dearly, but yeah, there were quite a few times where it's fun. It's fun. My granddaughter still hides her face in my hair when she's scared. I love it. I love her to pieces. Oh, well. Back to saying, hey, Grimmy! I see Grimmy over here in the RLM, as well as the lovely Moose Girl who gave me an update on Stranger Things 2. Asmodeus Asmo is logged into the house, but I don't know if he's listening in. probably not. Hi, Beth Z. How are you doing, lady? I also see BTC Bob is logged in, as well as Chelsea Sidoni. And the lovely Circles. Circle, circle, circle. I love Circles. She's so awesome. And she sent me a job application. So, I want to be the evil genius, though. Damn it. And hire minions. I think that I already have 5. They're fur babies. And they're very good at tripping you if they don't want you getting past them. Okay, where am I at? Circle. Chloe! Double dipping a Chloe, mind you. Also got Gary L in the house. Hey, Gary L, how are you? Nag, 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 nag. Oh, hush, Flasher Warp 5. Are you warped in 5 different ways? Is that like a 5-finger discount or Rosie Palm and her 5 ugly daughters? Don't answer that. I don't want to know. Let's see. Yeah, Gary L. Yay, Gary L is here. And darn it, I missed out on listening to your show from Sunday. But I'm going to listen to it this evening, damn it, because I'm going to go to YouTube and I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to listen while I'm finishing up supper. How do you like them apples? So, I also see I'm here. Hey, hi, me. IB Don C is here. Congrats, dude. I hope everything goes well on Friday. That would be way cool if it did. Booyah. Java Dr. 2 is in the house. He is that double dosing of Java. And yes, I have half a cup left. That's got to last me the whole show. I'm in trouble. I also see JJ's. He's my exotic feller. Yeah, because I just love that accent. So, yeah. I lust after your accent, JJ's. I hope you don't mind. I also see Juana Taco is here, which is, remotely closely related to, in a kind of sort of weird Grammy logic kind of way, to what I'm having for supper, because I'm having ravioli. It's not American. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, want a taco. P Bunyan. Hi, P Bunyan. I checked out some of the pics that you shared on Instagram earlier today. Was you in one of them? I think you was. Hey, y'all. I think I know what P Bunyan looks like, and he looks just like his name sound. Well, maybe not quite just like, but okay, moving along. Hi, Kate. How's things in the great state of Florida? I hope they're going absolutely amazing down there and not totally duh. The lovely Rain is in the house, and from what I understand from Sock Puppet, she's quite a fetching young lady. So y'all just keep your shirts on and your pants on, 'cause Rain will work your ass over. Just saying. I also see RLM Fluke, who is the Vanna White of the RLM channel. Uh-oh, Circle just left, and, thanks for pulling up your pants, JJ's, 'cause I was getting distracted. Dorky Lynn left, too. Damn it. Strange women lying in ponds, disturbing or distributing swords is no basis for a system of government. Really? I'm not going to play a bloody song, 'cause I don't own any bloody songs. And I don't play songs through the show, 'cause then I have to edit. And I suck at that. I truly do. So I just talk. Yes, Moosey, he is a lumberjack, and he looks like a lumberjack. Okay, back to saying, hey, Rob Works, who fired up the bubbler twice, which is probably part of the reason why I am, well, it's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I also see Tip Bob is in the house. Hey, that's the second Bob going on. That's a double dip in the Bobs, don't you know? Trust no one, or number one, however you wish to say that. Make it so, number one. I also see Phantom, the awesome guy that made my intro for me. Thank you, Phantom. You are just absolutely splendiferous. And looky there, Colfax 101 is logged in, although is showing away. And hey, I know it's really late there, Warp 5. Really, really late. Have you guys already done the cut a foot off of the blanket and sewed it on the other end to make sure it's longer, kind of thing? Have you done that already? We haven't yet. If we have, nobody told me. No, JJ's Fudd is my brother. And he's funny. He's a funny fudder. I did not say an F-bomb yet. Give me time. Dakota was getting lots of snow from the sounds of it this morning. And you know what? I had snow yesterday. It was not fun driving into work in that yesterday. 3 bobs as a crown? Sweet! Oh, a crowd. God, it would help if I could read, wouldn't it? Reading is fundamental. It's fun and demental. And I'm demental in the crowd. Dimma! Hi, Dimma. I was not implying you were mental, although that did kind of work out that way, didn't it? Hi, Frumpy! I didn't get a chance to get Frumpy tonight. Sorry, hun. Jehovah One is in the crowd. Hey, Jehovah One. You know, you could warm things up just a skosh. I wouldn't mind one damn bit. I don't know. I don't care. And I do have on pink underwear, but I'm not showing. Hi, Kozu. How are you, hun? And the lovely Mary B from Down Under. Hi, Mary B. How's things in your world? I also see Poxified and Pon Sauce logged in. And Sock Puppet. You got snow today, Moosey? I'll let you have it. I don't want any more. I got an inch yesterday, and that was hard. Oh, my mind went there. Yes, it did. Well, I said Sock Puppet, so, you know, my mind's naturally going to gravitate that way. I also see Slim Jim Flim is here. Hi, Slim Jim. You were having a lot of fun this morning, weren't you? And Slim Jim notified me this morning that I'm one of them, which is the how do I let's see the harpy eviscerating minds. There you go. I'm a them. That works for me. I got called a harpy one time. And I laughed, and I laughed, and I laughed, because I've read books about what harpies look like, and I looked in a mirror. I don't look like that. Oh, cool, Moosey's wearing pink underwear, too. That's right, Moosey, great minds. Vinny is here. Vinny just joined the crowd. UK Oliver is here. Hi, UK Oliver. How are you, sweetheart? I am so glad you were able to join in. And to round out the crew, the one, the only, the Vin E, who is heading home. Really? Wow. Gonna be a long trip, Vinny. Or are you heading home to the home front, home there in Vegas where you're staying home? Or is it somewhere else? Moosey, are you wearing JJ's underwear? So JJ's, when he's wearing his kilt, really isn't wearing any underwear because Moosey's got it. Now we know what's going on. Okay, well, let's see. If that hasn't messed with your mind enough, how about I mess with it just a little bit more? It is what I do, after all. Over here on worldtruth.tv. And you know it's true because it's on the internet and it is the world truth and it's on TV. So it'll make you go meh while you're getting the truth. Because, yeah, a Buddhist monk died for 3 days and was shocked to see Buddha in hell. Was he trying to do a reenactment of the whole Christ thing? Apparently, it's a remarkable testimony of a Buddhist monk in Myanmar, or Burma, who came back to life a changed man. The story that follows is simply a translation of a taped testimony from a man with a life-changing story. It is not an interview or a biography, but simply the words of a man himself. Different people react in different ways when they hear this story. Some are inspired, some are skeptical. A few will mock, and ridicule, while some others have even been filled with rage and anger. Me, I'm just going to read it weird. Convinced that these words are the ravings of a madman or an elaborate deception. Could quite possibly be both. Never know. Oh, you're in chat only? Oh, well, I'm still going to say, hey, Vinny. Hey, Vinny. Hoot, 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 hoot. Okay. Vin-E. Ay, 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 ay. That's what doggies say when somebody like steps on their tail or something like that. But okay, back to the story. So some Christians have opposed the story simply because the radical and miraculous event described herein do not fit with the feeble image of an almighty God. Well, honey, y'all need to stop and realize that this Christ energy that y'all are talking about here, we're all that part of that energy to start with. And then we all come down here and we occupy meat suits for a while. We ain't much different when you look at it like that. Okay. In his early years. So, hello. My name is Athet Pia Shinta Paulu. Ah, no, I boogered that up. And I'm from the country of Myanmar. I'm not, but he is. I would like to share with you my testimony of what happened to me. But first, I would like to give some brief background information from my life growing up. I was born in 1958. Ah, he's older than me. In the town of Bogale on the Irrawaddy Delta. Man, they have some fun words. Irrawaddy. Irrawaddy, 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 Irrawaddy. Wee dee 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 dee. Okay, move along. Oh well. It's in the southern part of Myanmar, formerly Burma. My parents, who were devout Buddhists, like most people in Myanmar, named me Thitpin, which means tree in English. Our lives were very simple where I grew up, and at the age of 13, I left school and started working on a fishing boat. See, y'all think you got it bad? Look at this shit, okay? I got my first job when I was 6 years old. My brothers gave me a grocery sack, and I got to go deliver the newspapers on our block. And I made $1 a week doing that, and that was big money back then. But I was a big girl. I was making money. So, okay, back to this. We caught fish and sometimes also shrimp from the numerous rivers and streams in the Irrawaddy area. At the age of 16, I became the leader of the boat. Hey, he's the leader of the boat. Vroom, vroom, vroom. Okay, now I'm doing all kinds of musical shit running through my head. At this time, I lived in Upper Main that, yeah. It's a really long word, and it's an island, and it means Beautiful Woman Island in English. Why? That's the easier for me to say. Beautiful Woman Island. I'll stick with that one. It's just north of Bogale, or Bogale, however you pronounce that one too. This place is about 100 miles southwest of Yangon, or Rangoon. Hey, that's something like when I go to that Chinese buffet place. Oh, that's the capital city. Never mind. So, one day when I was 17, we caught a large number of fish in our nets. And because of the many fish, a large crocodile was attracted to us. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. It followed our boat and tried to attack us. We were so terrified that we frantically rowed our boat towards the riverbank as fast as we could, and the crocodile followed us and smashed our boat with its tail, and we heard this tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Oh, no, wrong story. That's Peter Pan. Although no one died in the incident, the attack greatly affected my life. I no longer wanted to fish. Our small boat sank because of the crocodile attack. We had to go home to our village that night on a passenger boat. Not long after, my father's employers transferred my father to Yangon City, which was formerly Rangoon. And at the age of 18, I was sent to a Buddhist monastery to be a novice monk. My parents tried to send their son to my parents in Myanmar tried to send their son into a Buddhist monastery, at least for a time. Oh, as it is considered a great honor to have a son serve in this way. Okay. And we have been observing this custom for many hundreds of years. Well, you see, that's kind of cool. So, when he turned 19 and 3 months old in 1977, he became a normal monk. A senior monk at my monastery gave me a new Buddhist name, which is the custom of our country. I was now called Unada Panita Ashinavaja. How about I just say Unada? When we became a monk, we no longer used the name given to us at birth by our parents. The name of the monastery I lived in is called the Mandalay. No, not like in Vegas. I'll just call it the Mandalay because, yeah. I don't speak that language really well, in case you haven't noticed yet. The senior monk's name was called Uzadila Kayarnikan Uzadila. We'll just stick with that one too. And he was the most famous Buddhist monk in all of Myanmar at the time. So everyone knew who he was, and he was widely honored by the people and respected as a great teacher. I say he was because in 1983 he suddenly died when he was involved in a fatal car accident. His death shocked everyone, and at the time I had been a monk for 6 years. I tried hard to be the best monk I could and to follow the precepts of Buddhism. At one stage, I moved to a cemetery where I lived and meditated continually. Okay. Some monks who really want to know the truths of Buddha do things like I did. Okay. I'm happy for you. Some move deep into the forest where they live a life of self-denial and poverty. I sought to deny my selfish thoughts and desires, to escape from sickness and suffering, and to break free from the cycle of this world. And at the cemetery, I was not afraid of ghosts, which, okay, I still think that would be a rather desolate and spooky place to want to go live, but okay. He tried to attain such inner peace and self-realization that even when a mosquito landed on my arm, I would let it bite me instead of brushing it off. Okay, no. There are certain parts of inner peace that I just plain ain't gonna reach in this lifetime. I already know that. And a skeeter landing on me, I ain't gonna let it sit there. Not even if I ate a whole bottle of Louisiana hot sauce would I let that little... I'm going to say bitch, too, because the ones that bite you are the females. If she's going to be drinking my blood, she's going to go up in flames when I smack her. Because, yeah. Remember that commercial? Those of you in the USA? From years ago, and it had to be years ago because I haven't watched in forever. From the Super Bowl with the Louisiana hot sauce. Ooh-wee! That's some hot sauce. But... yeah, where he let the skeeter bite on his arm, and then it flew away and it exploded. Okay, I digress. For years, he strived to be the best monk he could and not harm any living being. He studied the holy Buddhist teachings, just like all of his forefathers had done. His life proceeded as a monk until he got very, very sick. Excuse me. He was in Mandalay at the time and had to be taken to the hospital for treatment. The doctors did some tests and told him that he had both yellow fever and malaria at the same time. See, that's what happens when you go somewhere else, when you're trying to avoid something, but you're still focusing on whatever that thing is that you're trying to avoid. A lot of times it will catch up with you because you're so focused on it. Stop focusing on the bad juju, and maybe bad juju won't catch up with you. Maybe. I said maybe. After about 1 month in the hospital, he was getting worse, and the doctors told him there was no chance for him to recover and discharged him to make arrangements to die. That's a brief description of his past. And now for the remarkable things. After he was discharged from the hospital, he went back to the monastery where other monks cared for him. He grew weaker and weaker and was lapsing into unconsciousness. He learned later that he actually died for 3 days. Body decayed and stunk of death, and his heart stopped beating. His body was prepared for cremation and was put through traditional Buddhist purification rites. Although he faded away in the body, he remembered that his mind and spirit were fully alert. And he was in a very, very powerful storm. A tremendous wind flattened the whole landscape until there were no trees or anything else standing. Just a flat plain, kind of like Kansas. Well, at least western Kansas. He walked very fast along this plain for some time. And there were no other people anywhere. He was all alone. Kind of like in the cemetery, only different. After some time, he crossed a river, and on the other side of the river, he saw a terrible, terrible lake of fire. In Buddhism, we do not have a concept of a place like this. At first, he was confused and didn't know it was hell until he saw Yama, the king of hell. And Yama is the name ascribed to the king of hell in numerous cultures throughout Asia. His face looked like the face of a lion. His body was like a lion, but his legs were like a naga, or a serpent spirit. And he had a number of horns on his head. And his face was very fierce, and he was extremely afraid. Trembling, he asked him his name, and he replied, "I am the king of hell, the destroyer." I just have to do that laugh because I didn't get to do a show on Halloween and it's been building up. Sorry. The king of hell told him to look into the lake of fire. And when he did, he saw the saffron-colored robes of Buddhist monks that the Buddhist monks wear in Myanmar. He looked closer and he saw the shaven head of a man. And when he looked at the man's face, he saw that it was Uzadilla, the famous monk who had died in a car accident in 1983. When he asked the king of hell why his former leader was confined to this lake of torment, because he was such a very good teacher, and he even had a teaching tape called "Are You a Man or a Dog?" which had helped thousands of people understand that their worth as humans is far greater than the animals. The king of hell replied, yes, he was a good teacher, but he did not believe in Jesus Christ, and that is why he is in hell. Oh, here we go. There's that catcher. Man, you have sinned before yourself and before God. You must believe in Jesus. Really? Okay. I know there's an awful lot of people out there. And I actually believe that there was an individual that the story was based on. Don't think his name was Jesus Christ because, number one, they didn't have a J in their in their alphabet. That's just first little glitch in that story. But we'll just move along to this. He was told to look at another person who was in the fire, and he saw a man with very long hair wrapped on the left side of his head. He was also wearing a robe. And he asked the king of hell, "Who is this man?" And he replied, "This is the one you worship, Gautama or Buddha." And this monk was very disturbed to see Buddha in hell. He protested, "But Buddha had good ethics and good moral character. Why is he suffering in this lake of fire?" And the king of hell answered, "It doesn't matter how good he was. He is in this place because he did not believe in the eternal God." Man, that's a hell of a nightmare. How much farther? Wow, this is a really long one. And you know what? I'm bored with it. Oh, there's a video. Wow. You know what? Religions are very, very interesting. And they can really, really mess with people. And, okay, what's this? What is this? What? Oh, Hulu. Yeah, I don't have Hulu. I'm just catching up on the chat. Y'all can finish reading that whole monk thingy, because I'm just like, it didn't work out the way I thought it was going to. You know, I hate it when a story, you start getting into the plot line, and then all of a sudden they do a plot twist. Just ask Hillary. I'm sure she's real familiar with having that kind of shit happen, too. I'm sure she didn't like it either. Darn it all. Okay. But you must believe in Jesus Christ. Okay. I still say that book was written by an woman who said that it was a message they received from God, and I still think, wow, is this the same God that was demanding human sacrifice and shit? Not my kind of guy, just saying. Okay, I'm going to go to my pocket, because that one just totally dudded. Yeah. Let's see if this one is any better. I hope it is. So, from the telegraph.co.uk, why Google is reading your docs. Well, because I write very fascinating things, and they just love a giggle. Oh, that's not the story? Okay. Apparently, several users of Google's online word processing service, Google Docs, were surprised on Tuesday when their documents were blocked for violating its policies. Oh, but we don't censor unless it's for your own good. Users reported losing access to wedding vows and academic research, receiving messages saying that the documents had violated its terms of service. The problem was reported by dozens of people on Google product forums. And while Google quickly restored them, blaming a botched update, wink wink, that mistakenly locked users out of their documents, wink wink, the episode revealed that many people didn't realize. Really, you haven't figured that out yet? Google's monitoring. Yeah, these supposedly private files. Yeah, they monitor that shit. You know how that doesn't surprise me? Because I saw that shit happen firsthand. It's just not cool. It's really quite infuriating, which is pretty much why I don't try not to use Google. And when I do, I use Google as a curse word. So, while the internet giant has been under pressure to better monitor the videos uploaded to YouTube, yeah, let's monitor these things. By golly, we can't have any truth getting out. We have a story to put out there. Y'all need to quit this shit. Oh, and they erase illegal content from its search results and better police its advertising network. few will be aware that Google Docs is being monitored. Honey, if they monitor one part, you may as well just go under the assumption that they're monitoring all of it. That's usually the safest way to go. You know, if you know someone is taking a peek at your shit, they're taking a peek at your shit from every fucking window, and oh, there's an F-bomb. Everyone in the house. Oh, did I say window? That was not a Freudian slip. Docs is not only used by consumers, but by thousands of businesses around the world, with files containing potentially sensitive information. This kind of monitoring is creepy, wrote Rachel Bale, a journalist at National Geographic. Oh my God, did you post pictures of naked African women or women that are topless from Africa? Not that it's any different from women that are topless here in America or topless in Brazil or anything like that, but National Geographic was always the go-to kiddie porn magazine. My brothers had bunches of them tucked under their mattresses. Oh, they're well, thank you, Gary. Now, I did not know that they were contracting with Soros. Not directly with Soros. Oh. Well, thank you, Trust No One. I think just about every company out there is Soros affiliated, isn't it, Gary L? It would probably be easier to count on 3 fingers how many companies are not Soros affiliated. Oh, did I paint myself in a corner there? Night night, Warp 5. I know it's a little late, but night night. Excuse me. Oh, Buddha went to hell because he hurt people and made them suffer in a past life. Ah. Karmic retribution. Okay, thank you for that, Trust No One. Number 1. Make it so, number 1. Okay, back to this. Rachel Bale. Excuse me, I have a frog. Actually, I don't have a frog. One of the few critters I don't have. In any case, Rachel Bale also says, I like to use Google Docs for drafts because my editor and I can work together in real time. But this kind of monitoring is creepy. Yeah, get used to it, sweetheart. It's like a cybernetic peeping Tom and Tomette. And yeah, it's freaking creeper. Although a few people will read it, Google Drive's terms of service prohibit spam, violent or hate speech, pornography, the spread of confidential information, and so on, etc., 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 etc. Which, all of those are very vague terms that are subject to one's opinion as to whether it's pornographic or not, or whether it's hate speech or not, or if it's spammy. Which, if somebody, I wonder if someone were to put a picture of spam in a can, if that would get them prohibited. Inquiring minds. Maybe I'm going to have to do a Google document and say, this is spam. This is spam on toast. Really mess with them, Apparently, a Google spokesman said that docs and other files in Google Drive are policed by an algorithm. Yeah, an Al Gore rhythm. Okay, Al Gore is a white guy. He ain't got no rhythm. But it looks out for abuse of its policies. And automatically blocks files if they are deemed to violate them. I feel so violated. Cybernetically, at least. Unlike some systems which escalate a suspected issue to a moderator, there is no human review involved. See how technology is so much better. Yes, we're replacing humans, one algorithm at a time. We're doing it to ourselves, peeps. The spokesman said that the main reason its algorithm reads files is to prevent computer viruses or spam spreading. Oh, now I am going to have to write a Google Doc and just do different images of spam. However people prepare it, and just do, and just spam it. Just because. It is unclear if Google's algorithm is used to check for pornography. No, I'm sure there's some human interaction going on there. Or other abuse of its policies. Or if the policy applies equally to work and personal accounts. Oh, it's across the board, honey. Apparently, Google Docs people say, this is an issue that has been resolved, and you should have access again. We apologize for any inconvenience. For more information, please go to... And then if you click on the link, it's probably this document has been closed due to violation of hate speech and spam and pornography because it just fucked with my mind something fierce. So, Sydney, sorry, honey. Apparently, after several users were locked out of important documents, the company said, oops, we made a code push that incorrectly flagged a small, an infinitesimal, very, very, oh, don't pay attention to those zeros behind that prime number there. It's a very small percentage of Google Docs as abusive, which did cause those documents to be automatically blocked. Are bad. A fix is now in place, and all users should have full access to their docs. Yeah. Protecting users from viruses, malware, and other abusive content is central to user safety. We apologize for the disruption and will put process in place to prevent this from happening again. They fall, yeah, they're eating it up. Have you noticed that shit? They accepted that. I kept my fingers and toes crossed when I wrote that little response. Did you notice that? Yeah. Okay. While Google does charge corporate users for access to its G Suite, I am so glad that's not G Spot. Yeah. So while corporate users get charged for access to the G Suite of programs, Docs is provided to consumers for free. It's for free up front. Just like Gmail and Google Maps and other services, it's for free. Pay no attention to the fact that we're selling your information. Pay no attention to the fact that we're tracking you. Pay no attention that we've got our eyes on you every cybernetic step of the way, and even some steps that aren't cybernetic. It's for free. Yeah. The company's privacy policy states that it does collect information from docs, among other services. That's pretty much that blanket statement that says, it's for free, except. But it is unclear whether it uses it to target adverts. Yeah, unclear. Uh-huh. All right, Mr. Magoo, put your glasses back on. No, it's real clear. Apparently, Google has been under pressure to remove terrorist content from Google Drive after cracking down on it on YouTube. The service was mentioned in a recent speech by Baroness Shields about countering terrorism online. Why, thank you, Baroness Shields. Who the fuck are you? And, all I have to do is see a picture of one of them there people in D.C., and it strikes fear into my wee little heart and makes me go, I can't believe they're making decisions. Or at least pretending to. Holy shit. These people scare hell out of me. Oy. Oh, Soros Google fact checkers. Well, is that Snopes? Is that a kind of end run around Snopes? Because Snopes is really good at that whole. That's true. Trust no one. I'm catching up on the chat, by the way. Yeah. Why are people shocked? I've pretty much been operating under the assumption that anything I put on the internet is possibly being collected and can and will be used against you at a later date. Certainly. And you know what? I ain't scared of them. It's like, come on. Y'all don't have a life. Is this all? Because seriously, people that do that kind of shit, number one, they're very, very paranoid. Number two, they're very, very insecure. Number three, they're just messed in the head. And they're control freaks, and that stems from the paranoia and the insecurity. But it's for your own good. Sure it is. Uh-huh. I want to see monkeys fly out your butt. Hey. Okay. I'm going to share this over on the effing site as well. And then I'm going to, seeing as how they're policing, I'm going to go over here to another one that I saw earlier from Twitter. It's from journalisticrevolution.com. What is a police enforcement officer and what are their duties with regards to our rights? There was a rip snorting discussion going on, or at least I got to see a little bit of it over in the RLM chat earlier today about what are rights and what are privileges, and it was quite interesting. In their random quote, they have, "No man is above the law and no man is below it, nor do we ask any man's permission when we ask him to obey it." See, he says ask it. That's from Teddy Roosevelt, by the way. And Hansel had said something earlier, and I just kind of quipped smart-assed off and said that laws do nothing but create criminals. And when you actually stop and think about that, I'm not saying that there aren't bad people out there, but every time you write a law, that law is intended to curb a certain type of behavior. Whether it makes sense or not is immaterial to the law writers. But a law in and of itself is something that is to curtail a behavior. So therefore, if anyone participates in that type of behavior, even if no one is getting harmed out of the deal, they instantly become a criminal once that law goes into effect. Laws create criminals. Period. You want to get outside of the box of having the bad people and all this other fun shit? Start teaching people to have a conscience. Start showing by example how you are respectful of yourself and therefore, by extension, respectful to others. By extension, also show by example how you are responsible for yourself and by extension, responsible towards others. Not for others, towards others. There's a difference there. So, to this article, I want to see what a police enforcement officer is, because I've been saying for years there has been a gradual shift, and it was something that George Carlin said years ago that got me on this path. But it used to be peace officer, and it could very well be a George Carlin thing, and I'm just putting it in my own words. I'm old. Memory. Yeah, whatever. Plagiarizing. Or playing with it, at least. So, it used to be peace officers. Like Andy Griffith. That kind of thing. Or at least my grandparents' time. Yes, I know that you had the Pinkerton boys. Is that who it was? Private police. I mean, we were kind of sort of told, and the verbiage was peace officer, which was basically someone that got called upon whenever something was disturbing the peace, and they were supposed to show up and help bring peace back into the equation or the area. Peace officer, being peaceful. Then you had police officer, where the mindset shifted. They were no longer trying to help bring back the peace or help keep the peace. They were policing the area. They were making sure things were staying cleaned up. They were keeping an eye on you over there, 'cause I know you're going to do something that's going to make it not quite so peaceful, and then I will have to police you somewhere else. So it went from being a somewhat passive, only showing up when required and asked, to starting to patrol and look for trouble. Now they are enforcing laws. And how many times do you hear somebody say there ought to be a law? How many laws do we have on the books right now? I don't think anybody even knows how many laws there are on the books. Every time someone says there ought to be a law, I want to look them straight in the eye and say, go look and see. There probably already is. But they are enforcing those now because it's a paycheck, because it's my job. It's what I was told to do. It's immaterial that I really enjoy it. They are enforcing laws. Doesn't make shit and bit of difference how logical they are or are not. How necessary they are or not. They are going to enforce them. So, to this article, now that I've had my rant, to understand the answer, we will need to define what an officer does, what our rights are, and how they should be working to protect our rights, our natural rights, and the rights granted within the United States Constitution. And number one, right off the bat, I gotta say, rights are not granted by the Constitution. The Constitution is supposed to stipulate existing rights and do the whole Gandalf thing. At this point, you shall not pass. You shall not infringe upon these things that are natural, that are already here. They were here before the Constitution was written. If you want to get sticky and you want to throw the Constitution out there, rights are not granted by the Constitution. Constitution stipulates limitations on government, supposedly. So what is a police enforcement officer? A dick. Oh, excuse me, that's the better part of a man. Sorry, I didn't mean to put that down. The etymology of the word police is the same, or has the same meaning as policy, way of management. And it comes from the Latin word policia, or civil administrator. But they are far from civil. Have you noticed that? And the Greek word polis, ancient Greek city-state. Enforcement means constraint or compulsion. Officer comes from the Latin word officium, or a service or a duty. And a police enforcement officer is someone whose service and duty is to force you to comply. Management with the city-state's regulations and policies, which pretty much sums it up right there. Oh, hey, and look, they have what is a peacekeeper. Ah, well, I get to learn if I was spouting nonsense, probably, or spouting truth. So what is a peacekeeper? Well, peace comes from the Latin word pacem, or compact, agreement, treaty of peace, tranquility, absence of war, and keeper, or one who has charge of some person or thing, or warden. So a peacekeeper is someone who has taken charge and become a warden of peace and the absence of war. Police enforcement officers have become militarized, which is the opposite of what a peacekeeper should be. Police enforcement officers are not peacekeepers and should not be confused with them. This is the current state of our police force within the USA. So when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Now, that is not a sexist term. That is, as in the colloquial, that is the human. Only they didn't say human. All men, aka Homo sapiens, are created equal, and that are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is from the Declaration of Independence. The reason they are in that order is because they are in order of importance. Number one importance is life. And everybody has unalienable rights to life. But if someone's liberty is a danger to another person's life, then perhaps they may forfeit their liberty in order for others to survive. That's the way. And if someone else's pursuit of happiness is to remove someone else from enjoying their liberty or enjoying their life, because they get off on keeping people locked up or killing people, well, their pursuit of happiness kind of gets, nope, not a zip zilch. You can't play that game because nobody else is willing to play. So, what are unalienable rights? Unalienable rights are rights which cannot be given or taken away without first violating the rights of others. Life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness are rights we should all enjoy. They are natural. The foundation for the economic education published an article explaining the depth of John Locke's view on natural rights to life, liberty, and property. Thomas Jefferson got most of his ideas from Locke for the Declaration of Independence. And these ideas are anarchist views. Google voluntarism and anarchism, although I don't know that you necessarily want to do Google, try DuckDuckGo. Every man has a property in his own person. That is your property. It is your meat suit. This nobody has any right to but himself. The labor of his body and the work of his hands, we may say, are properly his. That is also John Locke. In other words, it is not income when you barter your labor. It is your property. The International Association of Chiefs of Police recommends that police pledge an oath of honor that says they will never betray public trust. They will hold others accountable for their actions. This should include other police officers, and to uphold the U.S. Constitution, i.e., gun rights shall not be infringed. Having spent 6 years in the Army, I understand what it feels like to pledge an oath to the state and to the Constitution and hold to it as an honor. So, do you believe police honor their oath? Do we really need to ask? I think that's rhetorical. I think it's rhetorical. The U.S. Constitution is the very cornerstone of our society. So we've been taught. Or at least it should be. And it has been one of the greatest government-approved documents outlining individual rights ever created, even with its flaws, by placing limits on what the government can do against its citizens and what actions citizens can take to defend themselves from a tyrannical government. This is, of course, within our recorded history. Yes, it is a flawed document. But what do you expect when royalists still wanted a king during a time that owning slaves was legal? What part of all men are created equal didn't get transferred over to that whole owning slaves was legal thing? That just shows right there that legal schmeagle is just so much legal schmeagle. Luckily, at a perfect time, several prominent liberty-minded individuals with strong anarchist views were in positions to guarantee enough rights and freedom for individuals. Some ideas for the setup for the government were from the Iroquois Federation, or Federacy. And sadly, due to having to make political deals, unanimity became democracy. Oy. And democracy is never a good thing. I'm sorry. It's just not. Democracy is where the majority makes slaves out of the minority. And if you truly are in favor of the minority and supporting the minority and backing the minority and saying you speak for the minority, the smallest minority is the individual. So if you do not support individual rights, natural rights, individual sovereignty, then don't talk to me about supporting minorities, because it's all just stuff and nonsense coming out of your mouth. One problem is that many try to interpret the words written in the Constitution by giving the words different meanings. They try to stretch the meanings, or they make exceptions when none were listed. But words have definitions, and we should be reading the Constitution literally. Definitions for the time period it was written in, and the political climate, not in today's language. Just like it's very, very, very disingenuous to judge others by our moral compasses, judge their actions 2,000 years ago, 300 years ago, 100 years ago. You can't, it's not the same situation. You cannot judge it by the same moral compass that you judge things by, although they would probably look at us and go, bunch of heathens. All men are created equal. If they really considered men to include blacks or slaves or women, then why did we need the 13th Amendment or the 19th Amendment? We know, at least we should know, that all humans are created equal and have the same natural rights as everyone else, as long as they do not violate the rights of others. See, there's that catch. The one catch. You are free to exercise whatever right you have, so long as it does not infringe upon another person's rights. No harm, no foul. That's the way it's supposed to be. So what do we consider a violation of a right? Do you only care about legal rights, natural rights, or do you care about both? Remember that slavery was legal under the Constitution and was a legal right, but it is a violation of our natural rights to life, liberty, property, or product of labor, and freedom to seek happiness. Doesn't mean you will achieve it. Just means you have the freedom to seek it. And freedom of movement. That's part of that whole liberty thing. One thing is for certain, we should never, ever remove rights and should only add rights if they do not violate the previous set of rights, which I don't know. I think the previous ones just pretty much you have right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, property, kind of iffy because it's all temporary. I mean, once you're done using the meat suit, it's not like you get to take it with you. So that's one of those where I'm kind of One thing, although I don't think anybody should be able to step in and take it before you're done using it. Let's put that out there. So, let's see. My rights trump your feelings. Oh, see, because it doesn't say anywhere in there if you want to use that document at all. Nowhere in there does it say you have the right to not be offended. Nowhere. Nowhere. My rights trump your security. Yeah, if in order for you to feel safe, I can't drive anymore, or I can't own a gun, or I can't have an axe to chop wood, or I can't walk around with a pocket knife. In order for you to feel safe, I'm thinking you need to get a grip on your little issues there, Cupcake. My rights matter only if I do not violate others' rights. Your rights matter only if you do not violate others' rights. This concept should be acceptable to everyone who values rights and freedom. And you know what? Freedom is not easy. You gotta work for that shit. 'Cause to truly be free, man, oh man, you give up an awful lot of conveniences. Freedom is not convenient. The federal government creates hundreds of new laws every biennium. Really, I thought they did that like every day. Seems like it. Oh, and they will turn you into a criminal. Ding, 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 ding. Didn't I say that earlier? The day before, you wouldn't have been, but now you are, because someone else decided to dictate your life for your own good, because that person over there, 1,000 miles away, is afraid that you might have a pocket knife. It's about how logical most of them are. Each state adds more laws than what the federal government produces every biennium. This equates to roughly 400 to 650 new or changes in laws and regulations every 2 years. Regardless of where you are, that could make you a criminal at the state or federal level. So if you're a criminal already, what the hell, own it, work it, although I don't look good in stripes. Just saying. This does not include the local ordinances that, again, restrict additional freedoms. Many violate our natural rights and legal rights set forth in the Constitution, and the amount of dumb laws is redunculous and ridiculous. There is no law too small that the government will not kill you over it. So do you consider yourself a free person? Yeah, look at how many things you got to apply for a license or permit or permission to do. Tell me again how that freedom's working out for you. Sodomy is any sexual activity that involves oral or anal copulation, and it got its roots from the Bible. There are 18 states with some law involving oral sex, so we shall only look at Maryland as evidence. Maryland has a maximum of 10 years imprisonment, or a fine not exceeding $1,000 if a person takes the sex organ of another or of an animal in a person's mouth. Of an animal? Did you really have to go there? I know. There are some people that go there and it's like, ew. Ew. Many now might be saying, yeah, it's a law, but it isn't followed, but it is a law. There's an awful lot of blue laws on the books still. And if they want to nail your ass, that's usually what they whip out, is a blue law. But I haven't been told that the law is the law. Well, I've been told that ignorance of the law is no excuse, too. And we should all be following all laws, right? We have systemic racism built into our judicial system at every level. How many laws were instituted when slavery was legal or created shortly after slavery was outlawed? How many times do you see states trying to enact laws that limit rights after a Supreme Court ruling in favor of rights? And I got to throw this in there. I don't know if it's farther in this or not, but have you ever noticed that a lot of the constitutional arguments really don't refer back to the Constitution anymore? They refer back to case law, which may have been piss poor case law. But they don't refer back to the original document that all of this shit's supposed to be based on in the first place. They go back to a ruling, case law, sometimes nonsense that some judges that just happen to be getting a little bit of that stuff that's illegal in Maryland under the desk performed on them so that they would rule in favor of someone else. So, every new law means that we have lost rights. This is a fact, and it should not be acceptable to anyone. And by the way, you cannot lose rights. You have to acquiesce them. You have to allow them to be taken from you. You have to actually, you have to give them. Because you have to actually say, oh, okay, it's the law. The sooner we can come to terms and agree that we have a problem and it is wrong, we can move on by addressing the real problem. Government and its laws, and those who enforce the government's will. Ding, 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 ding. So there is no law too small that the government will not kill you over. Nope, there isn't. There isn't. When a government becomes tyrannical, it will be police enforcement officers leading the way to the violation of our rights, regardless of the oath they take using police brutality. Because honor just went completely out the window with the bathwater. We have previously defined police and brutality means savage cruelty or inhumane behavior. Police brutality means a way of managing using savage cruelty and inhumane behavior. If police brutality is only a threat and doesn't occur during a given situation, does that change your opinion? No, because it is implied. It is a threat of violence that would be carried out if you disobey a police enforcement officer, which is a terroristic activity. It should still be considered police brutality when it violates a right. It is also a terroristic act. So just follow the law or don't resist. He was resisting arrest. Well, if he wasn't under arrest to start with, how was he resisting arrest? And how do you arrest someone for resisting arrest when you had no probable cause to arrest them? That's what I want to know. Yeah. Apparently those are very common responses when issues and discussions arise concerning police brutality. Oh, stop resisting. It'll all work out okay. Yeah, right. Responses like these are logical fallacies that do nothing for healthy debates. We should never follow bad laws, because, slavery was legal. And this thought process is only causing the situation to become worse. Several cases have concluded that you can resist arrest up to the point of the killing an officer if they are committing an unlawful arrest. And yet, if you do something like that, I hope to hell you have someone that'll put a nice shiny tombstone up for you. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state is the right of the people to keep and bear arms. This shall not be infringed. We must take the words literally and with the understanding that this is to protect citizens from a tyrannical government. Without the right to bear arms, self-defense, all other rights can be taken away with ease. In other words, the Second Amendment puts teeth to everything else. It will be federal agents and police enforcement officers who take away your rights by force. Shall not be infringed. Infringe comes from the Latin to damage, break off, bruise, or to violate. Our right to bear arms shall not be violated. Massachusetts has a ban on semi-auto assault weapons, and will now be pushing even harder to enforce the law. Police will enforce this law. A clear violation of our rights. No victim, no crime. If someone has not committed a crime, then they should not have their right infringed upon. Hiya, Chloe. If someone commits a crime and serves their sentence, then they should have the full rights returned. Or it is a violation of their rights. It's like, that's basically, okay, so say I stayed out too late when I was a kid, and I got grounded for a week, and my mother was heartless when she grounded me, because it was after I had my own phone and I paid the bill and all that fun stuff. She would ground me from my phone, and then I'd come home from school and she would be sitting or laying down on my bed talking on my phone. Heartless woman. Taught me a lesson, though. Taught me a lot of lessons. But man, that was a hard one. But so let's say that I came home late once. And that whole week I served my sentence. I did not get to use my phone. I did not lip off at my mom while she was laying on my bed gabbing on my phone. And after that week was over, she went, no. I think I'm going to take away your phone again. Because I can. That's what this is. If you want to put it in simple terms, that's basically what this is doing. Well, I just don't feel that 1 week of being able to lay on your bed and talk on your phone was sufficient for me, so I'm going to take your phone away for another week. Because I can. That's pretty much. Mother never did that. But that's pretty much what this is. If you want to put it in real life kind of, hopefully that helped you understand a little better. I know, moving along. So, our rights are being violated on a daily basis. Many new laws listed have minor fines as maximum penalty or punishment, but not all. The real point of these new laws are revenue generation, because taxation is theft. But what if you don't pay? And don't pay? And don't pay? They put a lien on your home, if you're lucky. Take your property, if you refuse to comply. Regardless of how morally correct you are in the given situation, eventually police enforcement officers show up and you are arrested. Thereby, your liberty has just been taken away from you. Sometimes you don't even get arrested, with a warrant or probable cause, and they violate your rights of unreasonable search and seizure. So if you attempt to defend yourself, your family, or your property, you will be murdered because you defended yourself from having your rights violated. Once again, there is no law too small that the government will not kill you over it through their agents. All deaths of the innocent are tragic. But who determines what or who is innocent? You know, it's supposed to be you're innocent until proven guilty, until the whole revenue scheme kicked in, and then it's like, nah, you're just a revenue source, pay up. Or we're going to lock you up and take your shit anyway. Because we can. Because we're the bully on the block. So when police shoot innocent people, the word innocent becomes a subjective term because, well, they must have been doing something wrong or the police wouldn't have shot them, right? But is it really? Are you really a criminal for a victimless crime? How can it be a crime if there is no victim? The etymology of the word innocent means doing no evil, free from sin, free from guilt, or moral wrong. So how can a word that has an objective definition be subject or be subjective when being used? Easy. It's a perspective due to hypocrisy in their line of thinking. So does someone deserve to be murdered for not paying taxes or for violating many of the frivolous laws that dictate our lives? Once again, there is no law too small that the government will not kill you over it with their enforcers. For the most part, when I speak to others on an individual basis and talk about rights, most tend to have strong anarchist views. Anarchism is freedom. The largest majority or the largest minority is the individual. It's also the smallest minority. And we are not free, but we can be. Sterling Luxon, a psychological anarchist, wrote a great article on Becoming an Anarchist, a character and contour of a freeman. And it's worth a read. So, we should never follow bad laws that violate our rights. Peacekeepers would and should be those who protect our rights while keeping the peace. And it should be their duty to act in support of our rights when someone is in trouble. They should not be shooting unarmed civilians or dogs or cats, regardless of color or creed. If they can't or won't do that, then they should choose another profession. As individuals, on an individual basis, outside of their job, I bet many police enforcement officers are decent people with good intentions. But the current position of a police enforcement officer, when they make victims out of victimless crimes, violate our rights, including constitutional stipulated rights. Not guaranteed, not granted, stipulated. Should we be revered? They should not be revered. They should be opposed at every step that restricts our freedoms. Rightful liberty is unobstructed action according to our will within limits drawn around us by the equal rights of others. I do not add within the limits of the law because law is often but the tyrant's will, and always so when it violates the rights of the individual. Thomas Jefferson. There is a video at the end of this you may wish to check out. I found that quite fascinating and interesting, and I'm going to share it multiple places. Oh, Home Depot and Lowe's caused you mental degeneration, Trust? I hate when that happens. I hate it. What? Whoppers? You guys are having Whoppers? Okay. Needles found in Arcadia. Oh, you know what? Somebody was making pot candy and passing it out to kids. That was when I was out in Colorado. That was one of their little public service things that they were putting out there when I was out visiting grandbabies. Is be careful of the candy. Make sure it is in its original wrapper, yada, 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 because people were lacing it with oils. Let's put it that way. And you know, that's just not cool. Hey, PB. How you doing, hon? Okay, get this shared on the effing site. I do like that article. Okay. You know what? I think I'm going to go to the pig because I need to see what happened this... Oh. Thank you, Bobby. I loved that. Bobby shared a picture of a couple of Halloween costumes where Shitlery is in stripes and Trumples is walking behind her. That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. Oh, you thought that Thomas Jefferson quote was you, Grimmy? Well, you know, honey, maybe you were channeling Thomas Jefferson. I don't know. You know, once it makes it into the Akashic field, it keeps coming around because the universe has got to keep repeating that message because it gets a busy signal sometimes. Sometimes it gets a dropped connection, which is kind of sort of why when I see the Bible, it's like, wow, cell phone service, dropped connections, garbled words. Yeah. No. We are not gonna. Okay, I'm gonna go check out the pig. I'm gonna see what happened this date in history and see how things are going with those piggish fellers. Once again, pig wages a war on the hair incinerating Halloweenies who are hell-bent to take all the fun out of the night of candy muggers, which, you know, yesterday they had some Halloween stuff going on in town, and they have a trunk or treat so that people that live in the outlying areas, like myself included, could go down to Main Street and you just kind of pull in and pop your hatchback or open your trunk and you hand out candy to the kids, and then the kids go trick-or-treating around town. It's all well and good, lots of fun. Kids had a good time. But the kids were not allowed to wear costumes to school. They were not allowed to dress up. They didn't have Halloween parties, anything like that in school. Schools around in other towns didn't have a problem with it, but the school district where I work, they were not allowed to do that, but they were allowed to wear pajamas to school. I'm thinking, what? What the hell is wrong with children wearing a costume? Obviously, they had problems with that. Okay, so from those guys over at the pig, the word of the day, conversation. A back in the day form of communication that frequently took place face to face. It's been destroyed by bellowing cell idiots and text messaging twerps. That's number one. Number two, definition number two is, once the preferred form of human communication, this face-to-face interaction has been emailed, texted, and twittered into extinction, dealing a death blow to the English language in the process. Yeah. Gotta agree with you guys on that one. Whew. Common sense went by the wayside, too. Somewhere just prior to that, which is probably why the other shit kind of finished killing off conversation. In their quotable quotes section, America must not ignore the threat gathering against us. Facing clear evidence of peril, we cannot wait for the final proof, the smoking gun, that could come in the form of a mushroom cloud. Thanks, George W. Bush. Yeah, fair porn. So, we're going to enact the Patriot Act. Yeah. Weren't we just talking about having our rights taken away from us? Our rights, our wrongs, our privileges, our abilities to tootle about without causing harm to others. All gone. If you let it be. Okay, this day in history. November the 1st, in the year of 79. Wow. A terminally cranky, PMS-ravaged Mother Nature unleashes her pent-up rage when she has Mount Vesuvius blow its top and bury the city of Pompeii under a pile of ash. Kiss my ash. That's pretty much what she said. This date in history, the 1st of November, 1896. Another day that will live in infamy and remain buried in horndog brains. This transpires that the venerable Peep Show, National Geographic, shows bare-breasted Zulu women for the first time. See, I was channeling that earlier. And lastly, this date in history, the 1st of November, 2013, Hambo faves, Bubbles and Sparks, the real dynamic duo, were born. World Fun Factor jumps off the scale. Happy birthday. I'm going to assume Bubbles and Sparks are grand piggies, is what I'm going to assume. And congrats, Hambo, on being a grand pig. I think that would... Is that how you would say that? Huh. How fun. And happy birthday to Bubbles, and I'm sure those are Hambo monikers. Bubbles and Sparks. Okay, I'm thinking one of them is extremely effervescent, and the other one is wanting to light those farts. That's pretty much what I'm seeing. Hi, Joe. Oh, hey. Simon Sinek says, true love is when both people think they have the better half of the deal. Huh. Cool. I like that one. Okay, I'm going to go back to my pocket because I did throw a few other kind of sort of, I think they're interesting things. Okay. So we have recipes for homemade cinnamon rolls. We have a crooked former FBI head. We have Neil deGrasse Tyson, who's accused of drugging and raping women. And offering students good grades for oral sex. Oh, if he was in Maryland, he'd be in jail right about now. Let's see, we have exposure to electromagnetic emissions, mobile phones, video display units, and yada, yada, yada. 500,000 WikiLeaks release. CIA effectively created ISIS. See this? I'm just reading off some of the headlines here, because there's one that I really want to get to just because I think the headline is funny. Now, this one, I really, really enjoy the headline. It's Arkansas defies Monsanto and moves to ban the rogue weed killer. I may get to that. I don't know. But first, I got to get to this one. It was shared in my family page over on Fakeybook. Study finds that second-born children are more likely to be criminals. Which we all had a really good laugh at my brother Mikey because he's second-born. And, well, we'll just read this story, shall we? So, one of the most recent MIT Northwestern University of Florida collaboration studies came to the conclusion that second-born children show above average potential to end up getting in trouble at school or having law-related issues later in life. I like that. Law-related issues. I think we can all say that these days, where there's a law for everything. Researchers closely followed thousands of sets of brothers in circles in Denmark and the state of Florida. Duh. These are two extremely different cultures. And they found that second-born in both locations always end up having issues with authority. Oh, that's funny. So apparently second-born are more apt to run afoul of authority figures. Despite large differences in environments across the two areas, we find remarkably consistent results. In families with 2 or more children, second-born boys are on the order of 20 to 40% more likely to be disciplined in school and enter the criminal justice system compared to firstborn boys, even when we compare siblings. Were you not just comparing siblings? At first, it's a close connection between birth order and crime. So at first, this connection seems impossible. But the authors say that the higher risk of delinquency is the result of lack of attention. Basically, second-born children never get enough one-on-one focus. Oh. Ooh. This usually means that the parents, being that they did it intentionally or unintentionally, have put way more focus on their firstborn than the secondborn. No, not in my house. It didn't happen that way. The authors also wanted to point that parents take much more time off when they get their first child than they do with their second child. The second child will look up to their sibling instead of their parents, which is something only the first child does. In other words, the firstborn will spend more developmental time around adults. This time allows them to behave more maturely than the secondborn, whereas the secondborn will look to a toddler or someone their age at school as a role model too. The oldest sibling also tends to be smarter. I know my brothers. Apparently, several studies have shown that the oldest sibling are usually smarter than their younger brothers and sisters. So what might be the reason for this? Parents, of course. Oh, sure. Blame it on the parents again. They spend more time with their firstborn, giving them undivided attention. No, that is not the reason why the oldest is smarter. Parents lose their enthusiasm after the first child. Actually, no. Okay, this parent didn't, but authors say in their study that many parents admitted to being much less enthusiastic about engaging in activities with their younger children. There were much fewer bedtime stories. Oh no, there were lots more because it kept them both entertained. Playing instruments and crafting things, and the very things that are meant to help increase a child's intelligence. To top all of that, some of the mothers admitted that they weren't as careful with the second child as they were with the first. Well, yeah, the second child, after the first one, you realized, the first one they ate dirt and they lived. So, yeah, let the second one eat some dirt. Oh, wait, that's not dirt. That's a dog turd. Oh, Jesus God. Come on, let's go brush your teeth. Anybody else have to do that? Okay. Apparently, they weren't as strict with themselves during the subsequent pregnancies. Really? In other words, some mothers were being careful when it comes to drinking and smoking, which are choices that can have an adverse effect on baby. However, there's no need to panic. Okay, I gotta admit, I didn't really, seriously, even the doctor, we did not know I was pregnant till I was 5 months along with my first child. So, yeah, there was some partaking of adult beverages and there was some other stuff going on that got quickly curtailed once I found out I was pregnant Because, I mean, I really wasn't showing. I mean, yeah, I gained 5 pounds in that first 5 months, and I was still having periods. So, yeah, go figure. Yeah, that's probably a little bit too much information for y'all, and with my second one, oh my goodness, I was Miss Anal about I have to eat right. I have to do this. I have to listen to Mozart. I have to listen to Beethoven. Yeah, I was the opposite of what this study says. Apparently, even though this study shows that a 25 to 50% increase in the possibility of poor behavior choices and consequences, authors assure that crime sprees shouldn't be that big of a concern for parents. I would hope not. Only a minority of kids, maybe, 1 in 10 or 1 in 20, are getting in serious trouble. But Doyle, the study author, is saying that among this minority of children, there appear to be sizable differences between first and second-born brothers. Now, this is talking about brothers, too. What are the stats of sisters? Because, okay, second-born brother of my siblings talked everybody else into doing it. He was really good at that. Really good at that. Oh, well. I think that's funny. Very, very funny. And Circles, are you firstborn or secondborn, hon? And Alan B., we already know you're secondborn. I know you guys are going to hear this later. So, okay, let's see, what else do I have? Let me look at oh yeah, I was going to get to that Monsanto thing. Vinny, you should be proud of your home state if this is true, hon. This is from npr.org. And it's dated for the 22nd of September of this year. So, Arkansas is on the verge of banning the use during the growing season of a Monsanto-backed weed killer that has been blamed for damaging millions of acres of crops in neighboring farms this year. The weed killer is called dicamba. What the hell is that? Can be sprayed on soybeans and cotton that have been genetically modified to tolerate it. But not all farmers plant those new seeds. And across the Midwest, farmers that don't use the herbicide are blaming the dicamba spraying neighbors for widespread damage to their crops and increasingly to wild vegetation. It's a step, children. It's a step. The issue has driven a wedge through farming communities in the Midwest, straining friendships and turning neighbors into adversaries. Civil war. Monsanto turned to dicamba because many weeds have evolved resistance to the company's earlier weed-killing weapon of choice, glyphosate, also known as Roundup. Yeah, there's a lot of farmers out here that are seeing that. Increasingly, Roundup no longer gets rid of farmers' most troublesome weeds. No, because they are resistant to it now. So farmers are resorting to other practices. Dicamba is an old herbicide, but it's now being used much more widely in combination with the new generation of genetically modified dicamba-tolerant crops. Anytime you make a crop tolerant of a poison, hello, your plant is tolerant of a poison. It's also being widely used for the first time in the heat of summer, which makes the herbicide more prone to volatilizing or turning into a vapor and drifting in unpredictable directions. This is the first year that farmers were allowed to spray it on soybean and cotton fields, and some farmers used dicamba illegally last year, provoking disputes between farmers that in one case led to murder. Many farmers embraced the new tool, but it quickly turned controversial, and farmers couldn't seem to keep dicamba confined to their own fields. The problem was worst in Arkansas, where almost 1,000 farmers filed formal complaints of damage caused by the drifting dicamba. But the rogue weed killer has hit fields across soybean growing areas from Mississippi to Minnesota. And according to estimates compiled by weed scientist Kevin Brady at the University of Missouri, at least 3 million acres of crops have some injury. Most are soybeans that aren't resistant to dicamba. But vegetable crops like watermelons, fruit trees, and wild vegetation have been injured as well. And the dicamba vapors didn't typically kill the plants, but left them curled leaves and sometimes stunted plants. There is no precedent for what we've seen this year, says Bob Scott, a weed specialist at the University of Arkansas. And the Arkansas State Plant Board now has taken a lead in cracking down on the problem. On Thursday, it voted unanimously to ban the use of dicamba on the state's crops from mid-April until November. This amounts to a ban on the use of dicamba in combination with Monsanto's genetically engineered crops. And it's not a final decision. The governor and a group of legislative leaders have to sign off on the plant board's regulatory decision, but they usually do so. That won't happen, however, until after the public hearing is set for November the 8th. The board also approved steps to increase fines up to $25,000 for farmers who use dicamba and similar herbicides illegally. So, it's going to be very costly. This does go on a bit. So I'm just going to go ahead and share this with y'all so you can peruse it at your leisure, but I think it's funny. Monsanto's getting whittled at. Merca. What you talking about now? Merca. Okay. Wow, it is almost time for me to get the heck out of here. Y'all been listening to Grammy's Rocket Chair here on RealLibertyMedia.com, Channel 3. Also on the RLMRadio.xyz site, the RLM TuneIn radio station, the RLM Internet radio station, RLM Spreaker channel, and later to be on the RLM YouTube channel. Thanks, everybody, for listening in to Rocket Chair. And I suppose before I go, I ought to tell you, yes, I had a grand time over the weekend while I was playing hooky and not doing my Freaker Friday show and not doing my Dork Table show. Let's see, Friday evening we went to, another school district that had a Halloween party. Yeah, the middle school where my grandkids go had a Halloween fair or carnival, if you will. And my granddaughter actually worked the haunted house. So we did that Friday evening. And then when we got home, after going out for Thai for supper, we got home and we watched a couple episodes of Stranger Things. The first 2 episodes so that the grandkids could kind of sort of get their feet wet on this thing. And yep, the burying in the Grammy's hair began. And then Saturday we went to soccer, which was my granddaughter's last soccer match. And they won. Booyah, booyah, booyah. And I rooted and hollered and she did very well. And my daughter made me go walking. And with her little step fit thingy, she said that we burned a little over 200 calories. And then we made, we baked. And we made kind of those, the Reese's, they're kind of like a Reese's peanut butter cup. You take peanut butter and coconut oil and powdered sugar. And then we also crushed up Rice Krispies and we blended all that together. And then we melted almond bark and we after we froze, we took that peanut butter, made it into little balls, and then we froze it and then dipped it in the melted chocolate, and OMG, is it really good. Yes, crush up your Rice Krispies and put it in the peanut butter stuff. It's really, really, really good. So, and I've only eaten 2. Honest, only 2. Only 2. And then I came home on Sunday. So, that's how I spent my weekend playing hockey. And I will be here on Friday. Yes, I will not be taking 2 Fridays off in a row. So I will be back on Friday for the Freaker Friday edition of Grammy's Rocket Chair. And I will also be around for the weekend for the Dork Table. So until then, y'all have an absolutely amazing rest of your Whack-A-Doodle Wednesday, Day of the Dead, whatever you wish to call it. All Saints Day, I think, in the Catholic religion. Samhain, is that what it is? In the Druidic or Celtic? Them they're pagans, however you want to put it. Hi, Cowboy Tech! So, whatever it is, whatever you're celebrating right now, I hope you celebrate it with gusto and with vigor. And I guess I will catch up with you later. Right now, I got to get out of here so I can get some supper cooking so I can feed me before bedtime. So, thanks y'all for listening in.